The Lost Civilization DLC, currently the most recent expansion pack in for the game. The update comes with a whole new adventure as well as new enemies, classes, weapons, armor, and most importantly, monkey outfits. This video is going to go over all of the stuff that this DLC brings to the table, including classes and scourges that I didn't cover in the previous two videos. I won't cover everything though, as I'd highly recommend you get the DLC for yourself. Alright, without further ado, let's... Wait, who's here at this hour? Hey, fellas in the comments asking where the DLC is. How good to see you. Look, I'm just doing the video now. If you'd like to kindly step away from the door and... Whew, that was close. Right, let's go. I began the adventure by making my party. I recruited the three finest fellows I could find. Gregory the Astronomer, Sir Flex-a-Lot, and... I was certain that this team of three individuals would be up for the task at hand. As soon as I'd readied up, as per usual with every For the King campaign, I was given a bit of backstory. Once in an age, three or more planets will become aligned with the sun at the same time, causing... Okay, let's just get to the point. If the planets align, Farrell goes boom and we need to stop that. To start off this adventure, our crew needed to go to the farmer's market. Thanks to some great movement by Gregory, we were able to get there straight away. Once arrived, a nice young man by the name of Cletus Codham said that his chickens had gone a bit nutty, and we needed to chase them down. As soon as I was given the option to fight, I saw that there was only one chicken and thought, I'm sure Gregory could take a single chicken, but oh boy, I was wrong on way too many levels. First off, this chicken was about the same size as Gregory himself, and secondly, Gregory's damage sucked. Thankfully though, Gregory managed to get a crit right off the bat and instantly kill the chicken. Things were starting to look up for me until I saw... This farmer's market of all places is a dungeon, with 4 waves of enemies, and a boss battle. I knew I was screwed but I pressed on, hoping that Gregory might crit all of the enemies just like he did to that poor guy in the first wave, but unfortunately no, his damage still sucked. Once I powered through the second wave with 6 health left, another 3 of those chickens showed up. At this point I knew I wasn't going to make it and decided to restart the campaign, this time being wise and actually using the 2 gentlemen who were just watching Gregory get pecked to death from across the map. As soon as the whole party was together, they did a far better job this time, clearing out the enemies with no problem and even getting to see the nice visual effects the abilities have now. I was thinking this was all going to go smoothly, but then I forgot about the boss. He wasn't that bad. After a decisive victory, I was then given some more story-related quests, ones which I will not go into detail on as I'd rather you play it for yourself. However, one thing I will reveal is that later on in the story you have to make a choice that will change whereabouts you will continue the campaign, which is really cool honestly, as it adds some really nice replayability to this adventure. Right, now let's move on to the classes and scourges that have been added.
You are going to Brazil.
The Astronomer is another intelligent spellcasting class. He's quite an elderly gentleman who waves around a pointy stick which doesn't really do much damage. However, the Astronomer does have a very powerful skill which makes up for his lack of damage. No, not support range, you fool. Although that is quite a nice skill to have. The skill I'm talking about is Black Hole. Black Hole is a skill, which according to the wiki, has a 5% chance to activate on any attack by the Astronomer. Once activated, the Astronomer will then proceed to send the enemy to the Shadow Realm, killing them instantly. Any victims of this skill can be collected as star matter after the fight, which can be used in battle to create a nice little group shield which nullifies the next 3 hits received by the party. I haven't done any extensive testing on this, but I suspect that the chances of Black Hole activating are similar to Justice, in that adding more focus increases the chance of it activating. The reason for this is because, after this clip of me putting a bunch of focus into the attack of getting a black hole, I did the same thing again and got another activation of the skill. But hey, I guess I just could have been very lucky. Similar to the Herbalist, the Astronomer can be massively buffed by giving them an item which grants them access to refocus, since the chance of refocus activating is based on intelligence, and you'll probably be using a lot of focus with him to make sure you just destroy everything. His vitality is also weirdly high, just 1 shy of Woodcutter, making him the 3rd beefiest class in the game. Overall, the Astronomer is a very powerful magic damage dealer. With the power of his black hole ability and a slight bit of beefiness, he's basically a magical version of the Woodcutter.
Gladiator, 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 gladiator.
The Gladiator is a man who sees any physical weapon to be viable. Swords, spears, bows, rifles, you name it. The Gladiator will destroy all his foes with these thanks to his high strength and perception. Alongside these 2 stats, he also has high speed, which means he'll be quite evasive and be another viable tank class. As mentioned previously, his ability to use a wide range of physical weapons is reflected in his starting weapons, where you can choose either a combination of a trident and a shield, or some pugios. Wait, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Pugios.
Wait, Portuguese?
Pugios.
No, I'll just come up with something else. You probably want to choose the trident and a shield if you're in the centre, and the set of shanks if you're not. But then again, that's personal preference really, as the damage on both weapons is very nice. One of his starting skills is Glory, in which on his first turn, the Gladiator has a chance to give himself a 25% attack buff that lasts from 2 to 3 rounds. Alongside Glory, he comes with Entertain, a skill we've seen before on the Busker. This skill gives him a small amount of gold if he is next to a town in the day, or a carnival and night market at night. This skill also works on the goblin merchant in caves and dungeons. The amount of gold is increased the higher the player's level. Overall, the gladiator is a very large damage dealer and also can be a great tank. His entertain skill also provides a nice source of income to the party if need be.
Yo, this is terrible, ain't you?
The Witch Doctor is a new scourge added in this update. You know how I made a joke in the scourge video saying no smoking? Well, this is actually kind of what she does, as she reduces each party member's pipe by 1 level. Alongside making your herbalist very upset, she will also randomly ambush the party with diseased corpses after any fight on the overworld. These corpses will, as the name implies, infect your party with many different diseases that are added in this update. While some of these diseases give buffs, they also give a large amount of debuffs, and some even do gradual disease damage over time. If left untreated, diseases can also spread to other party members, so it may be wise to stock up on Panax or equipment that gives disease immunity once the Witch Doctor becomes active. The battle with the Witch Doctor is quite similar to most of the corpse fights, as she'll be joined by 2 corpses as well as having attacks which cause disease and lifesteal. So similar to a lot of other scourges, focus down the corpses first and then finish off the Witch Doctor herself. Once defeated, she will drop the Voodoo Mask, which gives an extra 10 max health, health regen, party disease immunity and party heal. Overall, a very nice supportive hat, so let's just slap him right here. Okay, with all the major changes out of the way, I'd like to talk about the huge amount of minor tweaks that were made to the game this update. First and foremost, you may have noticed a load of skills now have particle effects, such as Cold Shot now producing a giant green eye of Sauron, and Entertain causing gold to erupt from towns. On the topic of gold, it can be collected more frequently, as at the end of cams you can sometimes get a treasure chest. However, this chest still has a chance of being mimicked, so be careful. There are also a bunch of balance changes in this update too, with the Bandit King's Helm being one example where you can get a whole 3 extra health. Some skills were also changed as well, with Justice now working on 2-handed gun melee attacks. Right, I'm fairly certain that's everything. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to do a solo hobo run. I'm sure it won't be that hard.